Welcome to the Saturday Slam-A-Jam here on the Athletic NBA Daily, brought to you by Amazon Prime. On today's show, we're doing trade awards with Fred Katz. We are not doing trivia again. Alex Spears is again not showing up to the podcast. But listen, here's what we have to be grateful for, is that it was supposed to be Clippers week last week. And I promise you that show would be a lot different than the one that's going to happen next week with Law Murray. So listen, it's a blessing in disguise. But today, Fred Katz and I are going to recap the trade deadline and hand out some awards, some fun awards. Fred, how's it going? This is a crazy day for people working in and around the NBA.
It is a crazy day. There's a lot going on. There's a lot to follow. There's a lot to do. No question. Crazy for you too. Crazy for all of us.
Yeah. I want you to reveal what I think is one of the more Fred Katz things to write about. This is one of like the dorkiest things that you could write about.
Oh, thank you for putting those two things back to back.
Is the Thunder making a trade for a player that will probably never play for them, a name that I frankly just can't even pronounce. It is, I think, and I even put this out in a tweet that I think it's an acquisition to use for a trade in the future, but like you revealed in something you wrote at The Athletic why they would want this to trade in the future. So could you lay this out for our listeners?
Yeah, so the Thunder made a trade on Wednesday that I have to imagine nobody saw, nobody knew about, nobody even cared about, including probably even the guy who got traded, whose first name I believe is pronounced Balsa. Yeah. And the only reason I really remember that is because I said, look at the balls it took to make that trade.
Yeah, it is. It's got to be Balsa, like salsa, but with a B.
Right. It's gotta be Balsa. It's gotta be.
It has to be.
It has to be. It couldn't possibly be anything else. What's it going to have, a silent L? There's no way. It's gotta be Balsa. So they traded for Balsa. Balsa's not in the NBA. What's Balsa's last name?
I just told you I don't know how to pronounce it. Kabrikovic? I don't know. This is bad. I feel.
You know what? Just like it's got to be Balsa, it's got to not be Kabrikovic. It's got to not be Kabrikovic.
Why did you even ask me to say it? I introed it saying I don't know how to pronounce it.
Because honestly, I thought it'd be fun. I thought it'd be fun to hear you try.
You were right.
And we all deserve a try.
Correct.
The Thunder traded for this guy. He was drafted in the second round of the 2021 NBA draft. And I'm looking through trades and just catching up on stuff. And I'm like, what is this deal? Because all it was the Thunder sending cash to Utah and Utah sending the draft rights to this 2021 second round pick to Oklahoma City. And I'm like, what the heck is this deal?
Yeah,
and you know, Oklahoma City, they don't do anything random. So I'm like, what is happening here? And it starts to hit me. I'm like, okay, the Thunder gave up cash and they got back a random draft rights guy who's probably not coming to the NBA.
Yeah.
Why are they doing that? Why would they want? I feel like I sound like the Brian Windhorst meme right now.
Yeah.
Why are they doing that?
Why would they do that?
Why would they want a draft rights guy who's probably never coming to the NBA? And the answer could only be, just like Balsa could only be pronounced Balsa. The answer could only be that the Thunder are preparing for the possibility of going into the second apron next season.
Yeah.
Because what happens when you go into the second apron, you're no longer allowed to use cash in deals. So that means if you want to make a trade and you want to slide into like a smaller trade and you don't want to use a draft pick and you don't want to use a player, because remember, you can't trade those like fake second rounders anymore under these real deals, under these new rules. If the Thunder want to get into that deal, and remember, they can't aggregate if they're over the second apron. They want to get into something. Don't want to use a player. Don't want to use a draft pick. They can't use cash as a touching point in a trade anymore because they're not allowed to if they're over the second apron. What can they use? Draft rights players.
Balsa.
Draft rights players specifically who were in the last 5 to 9. Like if it's a 3-team trade, 5 drafts. If it's a 2-team trade, 9 drafts. And so it signals that they're at least preparing for the possibility to go into the second apron next year, which will be a big deal for them.
Yeah.
which signals something about their future,
Yeah.
signals something about how they plan to handle their finances moving forward. And the reality is, the Thunder didn't have any. I'm not sure if I think they had no draft rights guys at all before they made this trade. They certainly had no draft rights guys they would be allowed to use as touching points, because if you
I
have a
was gonna
draft
say,
rights
I think they
guy.
did, but I think they were too far
Right.
back. Yeah.
Right. If you have a draft rights guy from, 1462, then it's too far back. You're not allowed to use him as a touching point.
Yeah.
So I know they didn't have any like actual touching point draft rights guys. And so that, I mean, that look, the title, the everybody is waiting for that team to get too expensive, right? That's what
Yeah.
everybody keeps saying. When is that team going to get too expensive? And the Thunder are signaling the possibility that too expensive does not mean going into the second apron, and too inflexible does not mean going into the second apron. I think we can take that away from that move. Sometimes the best way to tell what's going on with a team is by studying their cap sheet. Not
Hmm.
sometimes, most of the time.
Yeah.
That's how you can get a lot of stories. Just study their cap sheet and be like, okay, well, this has to be this. This has to be pronounced Bolsa, you know?
Yeah. Well, and so a lot of people with the Thunder in particular, it's like, are they going to be able to keep Hartenstein? Are they going to let Lou Dort go? They have all these team options on these guys. Kenrich Williams is a team option. What are they going to do with all these guys? Well, the answer could be that they bring them back, because I think part of it is like they've drafted guys that can come in and take the place of some of these players, but they don't know anything about Thomas Sorber yet because he tore his ACL before the season. And so I do think that could have possibly been a guy to kind of help if Hartenstein was going to move on, but in my opinion, he's too
Yeah.
important for them.
And
At
look,
this point.
I'm not sitting here and reporting, oh, the Thunder are definitely going into the second apron.
Sure.
But it's too soon. It's just too soon to know. There's too much
Yeah.
that could happen between now and the end of the season that could affect that decision moving forward.
Yeah.
But what I am reporting is that the Thunder are preparing for the possibility of it, which means that it is something that is very much on the table. And this is, I think, the first time that we've received definitive information. People could speculate, people could ask around, people could know, but this is the first time they've like made moves specifically preparing for that. Like that moment is like, okay, that moment's right around the corner. Whether it's next season or the season after, like it is right around the corner.
Yeah. All right, let's get into our trade awards, Fred. The first trade award is the Pau Gasol Award, the trade that makes a team a true contender. Who did you have for the Pau Gasol Award?
Okay. I struggled with this
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't think there was any Pau Gasol equivalent trade.
Yeah. There's nothing that's making people freak out as much as
Right.
people freaked out about the Pau
Right.
Gasol trade.
So I deviated a little bit.
Uh-huh.
I went with a trade that I'm not even sure if I like,
Okay.
but it's the Ivica Zubac trade.
Okay. Okay. I have this for a different category, but go on.
Okay, I might have it twice.
It is one that I would love to talk about, because it is one, if you watched our live stream, that I freaked out about a little bit. Not in the way that I did about Pau Gasol, but in a different way. But you go ahead and explain your part on this one.
Yeah, I mean, look, Indiana was going to have flexibility this summer, and they were going to have the ability to go out and get a center to replace Miles Turner a year after he left for Milwaukee, and they did their work early. And the reality is that they viewed this season as a gap year. We all knew they viewed it as a gap year. We all called it a gap year on the outside. When Tyrese
Mhm.
Halliburton is back and healthy next year, and the rest of their roster is presumably healthier than it's been so far this season, then they will be a much better team than they were this year. This team is still only months away from taking the supposedly unbeatable Thunder to 7 games in the NBA
Yeah,
Finals and
happened.
having genuinely one of the best vibes playoff runs that didn't end in a title in NBA history.
No question.
Like, just one of the best stories of any playoff run ever, whether they won a title or not. This team still has talent. This team still could be good, and the East is super weak. So who's to say that they couldn't just shoot back next year? And Zubac is a very good player. He's a very good player. He's going to fit them well. He's an excellent defensive center. With him, he hasn't been as good defensively this year as he was last year. Doesn't really affect the way that I think of him defensively. He's going to be playing for another really awesome coach in Indiana and Rick Carlisle. He protects the rim. He's a great pick and roll defender. He's got an unbelievable, just unstoppable hook shot. Just one of my favorite hook shots in the NBA with either hand. It just feels like he's the new Robin Lopez and just never misses a hook shot.
Yeah.
He's a different type of player than Miles Turner stylistically. I think he's probably a superior player to Miles Turner. And you put him with wings who can guard like Siakam and like Nesmith and like Nembhard, and you have Halliburton at the top, and you've got a bench that can run, and Obi Toppin's healthy next year, and so on and so forth. Like, you've got a roster, and you've got a team that literally just went to the finals. So maybe it helps turn them around next year. That being said, the picks were a lot. They gave up stuff. They gave stuff up. So I'm conflicted because I see those picks and I see the value of those picks. And I'm like, that's a lot. That's a lot.
It's a lot. It is a lot. And I will stop talking about it because I have it for a different award in which.
So do I. We can talk about the a lot part next.
I will talk. I will talk a lot about it. Mine is Vooch to the Celtics. I just think they needed a big. They had a lot of guys at guard that could play, and just getting a big, because I think the East is super wide open. I feel it feels really unclear to me who I think is going to win. Now, I think the Knicks should win the East, and I thought that last year as well, but weird stuff happened in the playoffs. And I do think that if weird stuff is going to happen in the playoffs, I could see the Celtics winning with or without Tatum. I could see them sneaking in and getting a big that can stretch the floor and rebound for them. I think is really good. He doesn't solve every problem for them as a big, certainly, but I do think he makes them a much more dangerous team now that they have a little bit of big depth. I think that was a really nice move for them. It doesn't affect them moving forward, but it gives them a nice big to have right now. So I really like that deal for the Celtics.
Okay. I'm not going to respond because I might have that for a later deal.
Okay.
For a later award.
Okay. What about the PJ Washington Award? This goes to a trade that most people did not like, but we think could really pay off in the postseason.
All right. I'll tell you what, this is the one I struggle with the most.
Yeah. And
the reason why is not because it's particularly difficult. It's because I've become extremely old and washed up. And I don't go on social media anymore. I don't sit there scrolling Twitter.
Yeah.
And I don't really have any idea what anyone has said about any of these trades.
Okay.
So I have no idea. So one person told me, just like one random friend who's kind of a casual NBA fan. And I'm basing my entire opinion on this. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe everyone loves this deal and I'm being ridiculous.
Okay. I'll let you know.
One person was like, that all the Wolves did was get Ayo Dosunmu. So I'm basing it on the one friend who said that.
Yeah.
But I love that deal for Minnesota.
Yeah, I think it's a very good deal for them. They needed a player just like him. That's like a two-way player that can handle the ball a little bit. I mean, he's the Nickeil Alexander-Walker replacement, and he is already doing a pretty good Nickeil impression in Chicago. So I think it makes a ton of sense.
He's been a sneaky 6 man of the year candidate. He's been fabulous off the bench for them. He's creating his own shot. He's shooting better than ever. He guards. He's going to fit into the identity of that team incredibly well. And one of the things that I thought they recognized in their team, and maybe I give them too much credit when I say recognized in their team because there were all the reports of them, lusting after Giannis. But of course, like, if you have a chance at Giannis, why wouldn't you lust after Giannis? Who could blame them for that?
Mm-hmm. But
one of the things that I kind of liked was that, like, yeah, they need a point guard. They need an extra ball handler who can gather them and calm them down. But they don't always need an extra point guard.
Yeah, true.
Like, it's not like every single moment of the game. It's not like a Houston situation where Houston is like, man, this offense is really good, but the only reason this offense is really good is because they are getting just a ton of offensive rebounds and they have a dude named Kevin Durant. And the
Mhm.
offense is really good. But the offense is clunky and it's slow and they miss too many shots and they take too few threes and yada yada. Like, they need a point guard to organize them. There are times where the Wolves look really good offensively because Ant is doing a great job getting him set up and just creating his own shot and creating for others. Because Julius Randle is having a very underrated uh he's struggled the last couple of weeks, but he's having a really underrated, like, off the dribble facilitating season. His turnovers are lower than they've ever been. He's been really good as a one-on-one player. He's been really good as a facilitator, as a one-on-one player, which has been huge for them. DiVincenzo's done a pretty good job when being given the ball. Like, what they needed was an extra element and an extra guy who could be an organizing force in those moments when they get chaotic. I think Dosunmu was going to give them that without taking anything off the table. Uh, just a good player. He's he might get a nice payday this summer. I mean, he's unrestricted free agent. Good player. Didn't give up a ton for him. No first round picks. I'm I'm totally into that deal for them. And I have no idea on if this is happening, but people seem to be implying that maybe they just end up re-signing Mike Conley anyway. So yeah, that's a Jedi mind trick for you. I love that deal for them, but I don't know. Tell me, has that been criticized, that deal?
I don't think it was like PJ Washington was, where people were just like, ugh, whenever the Mavs acquired him. I was like, oh, that's kind of gross.
All right. So what's your answer? What's your
Well, I did want to say I think it was good that they just see the Rob Dillingham pick as just like a sunk cost at this point. Like I think like some teams just hold on to like mistakes like that for too long, and so I do think that's good to move on from him. I've got Porzingis to the Warriors, and who knows if he's going to play. He may not play, but I do think if he does play, that could really help the Warriors, like, even get into the playoffs. I know this is probably a team that's in the play-in right now, but they could become the 8th seed, and not that they're going to have like some magical run or anything, but like a team that has Draymond Green and Kristaps Porzingis as your front line is a lot more dangerous than what they were before. It is funny that they now have the centers for the Boston Celtics championship team a few years ago. But I like that. I think that's a trade that it feels like, oh, that's all you get for Jonathan Kuminga. Like, we went through all of this. We've talked about Jonathan Kuminga maybe more than anybody being traded in the last like 18 months, other than Giannis. And it's like, man, that's all you get is Kristaps Porzingis. But if he can find a way to be healthy, which is certainly a massive question mark, I think he really could help the Warriors down the stretch.
I agree with your analysis. I agree fully. He's still a really good player. We'll talk about him in a little bit too. I hope we don't have too much overlap here.
There's only so many trades. I don't think we're going to be talking about like the Gabe Vincent for Luke Kennard trade. There's a lot of small trades. I think there's 28 total trades, but there's like a ton of really small deals that were made and only a few like impactful trades.
You know what can I create an award right now?
Yeah.
The Bolsa Bolstering Award for your favorite small trade that no one's talking about.
Ooh, your favorite tiny
but
trade?
But you can answer with the Bolsa trade.
Oh, I do like the Knicks getting off of Gershon Yabusele.
That's a good one.
I think
they negotiated the player option off of his deal.
Yeah, I think that's, I mean, it's really good for the Knicks because it looked like it could be pretty disastrous for them.
He declined the player option to get traded and is then going to figure out in the summer. He had a $5.8 million player option, which is what made him unattractive as a trade candidate and why the Knicks were going to have to attach second round picks in order to get off of him. He doesn't play. He's completely out of the rotation and has really struggled in the rare moments when he has played this year. and he's the last guy on the bench. And they negotiated they didn't negotiate the player option out of the contract, but he declined the player option early, which is so unusual. I can't think of a situation. I'm not saying it's never happened before. There was a situation. I was trying to brainstorm with this with someone in the league. Like, has this happened before? And one person mentioned to me something I didn't remember, which I'm sure you remember. If anyone remembers, you remember. Uh, that Ryan Anderson once negotiated a partial guarantee to a lower number to facilitate a trade.
Yeah.
But I don't know which trade. I don't remember which trade that was.
Huh.
But
I don't
Ryan
remember
Anderson did that
specifically
once.
what it was, but that it is very unusual for a player to like it's like donating to a charity, but that charity is like a $1 billion corporation. You know, it's like what are you doing? What's happening here?
Right, to be able to get out.
Yeah. Yeah, he must be miserable. Is really what it comes down
I
to.
mean, yeah, I mean, the question is, would you be happier? Yeah, of course. The question is, would you be happier giving up $5.8 million?
Yeah, I mean,
And if the answer is yes,
yeah, if the answer is yes,
then you're certainly not thrilled where you are.
right?
So,
Yeah, brutal. The Gordon Hayward Award, which is a trade
the
that
Gordon Hay Award. The Gordon
most
Hay
everybody
Award.
praises it, but it will be revealed that the player is completely washed.
Okay, I say this with extreme amounts of reservation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm worried about Nikola Vucevic in Boston.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah. Now I say this with extreme amounts of reservation.
Yeah.
I just worry when a dude has played in so many basketball games that don't matter. This is not a knock on Billy Donovan, who I think is a good coach. But when a dude has just been in a situation that has not been a competitive environment
Yeah.
for such a long time, when he's not a defender, when he hasn't really played with winning players, I just worry when that guy gets thrust into the middle of a race like this. It's a good way to develop bad habits when that happens.
Yeah.
I don't really see him doing a lot of winning stuff this year, even though he has the skill set and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the reason I say it with such reservation is because, quite frankly, the Celtics as an organization in general, from their front office to their players to Joe Mazzulla, have earned the right to be like, screw you, Fred, we know what we're doing here.
Sure.
And if their response was, screw you, we know what we're doing here, I would probably be like, yeah, screw me. Yep, 100%. Like, I was the one who was like, how is this team going to manufacture a healthy offense this year? And they're, one of the best
they're
offenses
amazing
in the NBA.
Yeah.
Joe Mazzulla is able to uncover stuff that none of us can find. He is a master at this stuff. And so I'm very questionable about it based on what I see. But Joe Mazzulla has made me doubt myself to such an incredible degree this year because of the magic that organization has pulled off. And that organization identifies talent, they identify people, they identify character, and they make things work. Like that, I'm hedging it because I'm worried that I'm wrong, even though everything that I feel like I know is telling me that this is the answer.
Yeah. I can get there, although I picked the exact opposite award for this because I like the skill set that he has in Boston. And if they can get him to do really what you're saying is like you don't know that he'll do all the little things to win.
Yeah, 100%. And they obviously needed a big. Garza had struggled a little bit lately.
Yeah.
And Keita has been an incredible find, but this is an organization now that's not just like a cute little upstart.
Sure.
Like this team is not just like exceeding expectations. They could win the East. They could win the East even if Jason Tatum doesn't come back because it's the East. So they could do it. They're top 3 in the East right now. They have a chance. And they needed to go out and get a big, and they did it while lessening their tax bill. They did it while giving up a guy in Anthony Simons who's a little bit redundant with other stuff that they have. So it's not like it's some sort of huge risk that's going to blow up in their face because I don't think they had, plans on playing Anthony Simons in huge playoff minutes down the line anyway.
Yeah.
And so it's not like you give up something that's super important to your individual makeup. So it's not like I hate the deal or anything like that. But I just felt like it was the most fitting for this category.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Mine is Anthony Davis. And this doesn't fit like the Gordon Hayward storyline at all, just because like Gordon Hayward was an expiring contract. There was just a lot there, but I just don't like this for Washington at all. I just don't think it's a good deal. And if he's getting there and expecting to have like contract extension negotiations, I would be so worried about that. He's already due like 120 million after this year for the next 2 years. If you're extending him off of that, I'm just this is not the direction that I thought the Wizards would go. And if he is hurt the same amount that he's been for the Mavericks, it just means like he's going to slow down whatever you're trying to do. And the fact that the Mavs didn't get that much back for him should say a lot. Like a lot of people are like, well, they didn't have to give up much to get him. There's a reason for that. There's a big reason for that. And so like I really do worry about that team as they start to hit the accelerator a little bit on this young upstart team. I just don't know that a deal like that on your books is going to be helpful to like the development of the team and the franchise, like heading toward the right direction. It just kind of feels like more of the same from the Wizards when it kind of looked like, with Will Dawkins in place, that they were going to be like a team that was going to build slowly and try to do it the quote unquote right way. But I feel like they hit the accelerator in my opinion, in all the wrong ways.
We have disagreement.
Oh, good.
I kind of like the Anthony Davis deal for them. And I kind of liked it for Dallas too. I mean, the Davis deal for Dallas is a reminder of how little they got back for Luka Doncic, but that's not the fault of the people who are running the front office right now. That's the fault of Nico Harrison, who's not there anymore.
Yeah, I actually like that they did it just to like, okay, we know this was a mistake. We don't need to have them on our books. Like I like the fact that they did the trade for Dallas.
And I liked what they got back. Like they prioritized the right stuff. They prioritized financial flexibility, optionality, and getting as many picks as they could, which isn't a lot of picks. I mean, it's a couple of bad first rounders and 3 second rounders.
Sure.
But in this market for expensive guys with serious health issues, that's something.
Yeah.
I kind of like it for Washington because Washington's books are so clean moving forward because none of their young guys have gotten paid. Now, I do agree with your sentiment that if they just turn around and they get to the summer and Anthony Davis is extension eligible and they just pay him whatever he's asking for, then I agree with you.
Yeah.
But I don't know that they're going to do that. I don't know if they're not going to do that.
I hope they don't. I think it would be
but
a bad idea.
This has been an organization that's been pretty principled with its contracts. It's been like, this is what we believe. The current front office, the Michael Winger, Will Dawkins front office, has held, like, it's built a reputation of like, this is what we believe, this is what we're willing to pay. Come to us when you get it. Like, that's how they negotiate extensions. That's how they end up with like Corey Kispert on a team friendly extension, for example. They've negotiated pretty solid extensions before. And so I'm not going to write them off as like, oh, they're just going to pay Anthony Davis, because I don't know that they will. Now, that might create an awkward situation.
I would suspect it would. I think there's expectation on one side.
I'll tell you what. You know what the market inefficiency is in the NBA?
No.
Not giving a crap about awkward situations.
That's the market inefficiency.
Totally.
Okay.
Everyone cares about, oh, you got to give them the money. It's just going to be an awkward situation.
Yeah.
It's only awkward if you feel awkward.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Sure. Yeah. Hey, if they don't care, if you're right and they don't care, then I don't mind. I don't mind the deal. Like if they're okay with writing out the rest of his deal and figuring it out along the way, I'm totally fine with that. Like I just kind of had the assumption that they'll work out an extension in the
Yeah.
summer. And I don't know that I'd like Anthony Davis on anything that even approaches reasonable, because I just don't know that he's going to play enough for you. And eventually, like, there will be guys that need to be paid by
Yes,
the
eventually
Wizards.
eventually there will be. I don't know if the Wizards did this trade just to be like, "Oh, Anthony Davis is now gonna be on the Wizards for 5 years." Like, I don't
Yeah.
think that's why the Wizards did this trade. I think the
Okay.
Wizards did this trade because they were like, "You know what? Anthony Davis is one of these really expensive guys who's, not highly valued on the trade market."
Hmm.
But one of the differences with Anthony Davis compared to, say, John Morant is, John Morant's not highly valued for reasons that maybe you wouldn't want around a young, impressionable team. Anthony
Hmm.
Davis has always been an exemplary teammate. He's won a title. He's been a guy who's well respected and well liked, who has a good work ethic. Like it's he's well respected in the league. And I can tell you, I know for sure. Like part of the reason the Wizards were like, we want Alex Sarr around Anthony Davis every day. Like we want
Okay.
Alex Sarr going to work and seeing Anthony Davis every single day. That's what we want.
Hmm.
Also, like if you're gonna trade for Trae Young, you kind of have to go, even if you're just a team who's just like, let's see if we can get the 7 seed. Like, you kind of have to prepare for having Trae Young, which means like you want your back line of rim protector Anthony Davis, rim protector Alex Sarr,
Sure.
defender Bilal Coulibaly. Keyshawn George still fouls too much, but defensive potential and size, and obviously is vastly improved offensively this year. Like, there's stuff there for them to be competitive. So as long as they don't dig their heels into bad contracts, then I'm okay with it because they really didn't give up very much at all.
Yeah.
But if you compound it by giving out a bad deal, I feel the same way about the Trae Young deal. If you
Yeah.
compound it by giving out a bad deal, that's when it's bad. But I'm not gonna kill them for giving out the bad deal when I don't know that they're gonna give out the bad deal. They may very well not.
Yeah. Yeah. If they give out two bad deals, I I don't even know what to say. Um, quick detour. Who is your favorite team that got under the tax today? Which one just got your juices flowing about a team getting under the tax? There are a
Oh,
lot of teams that try to do that.
easily Phoenix.
Okay.
Easily Phoenix. By far Phoenix. You know why? Because I just don't really understand the trade from Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Like, I guess Milwaukee just really likes Usman Jang.
I guess Oos got passed around on Thursday.
Yeah, was it ooze of who's getting ooze?
Poor Oos just got passed around. Um, yeah, I still think I feel bad for Sixers fans because they got it's not like they didn't get anything back. They got a first round pick back. They got 3 second round picks back, but they basically used Jared McCain to get under the tax, and gave him to the Thunder. And it's a really nice swing for the Thunder, who have a surplus of picks, who are probably not going to be able to use that, what will be the 23rd through 25th pick anyways. They weren't going to probably use that just because they have other more valuable picks. Um, but yeah, I know that there were some frustrated Philly fans because they used Jared McCain to go into the tax and then didn't use. I mean, a lot of people thought, okay, if they get this pick, then maybe they will turn it into something else later that helps them, and they did not. So,
I mean,
but
dude, the really incredible part of Philly getting under the tax is that Philly shouldn't have even been so barely over the tax, but
yeah,
because Paul George got suspended for 25 games
I
for a
know,
banned substance,
I know,
it dropped they dropped them from like 7 million over the tax to like 1.3 million over the tax. So they were able to get under, which
yeah,
by the way needs to be, I've thought about this since before the Paul George thing.
mm-hmm.
That needs to be changed. That needs to be changed in the league. I understand that if a player gets suspended, you're not paying the salary so that it doesn't count against your books, but it should still count against your cap sheet. It
Yeah,
should still count against your hit, and it should still count towards the tax. Because think about it like this. We were just talking about the Wizards. They're not a tax-paying team. That means they're a revenue-sharing team, right?
mm-hmm.
Paul George testing positive for a banned substance costs the Wizards money.
Yeah.
Because
true.
now they're not getting paid out
True.
in revenue sharing.
It would have been
Like-
it would have been hard for them to get under the tax because they did end up trading Eric Gordon, which could have been, you could call that one the trade to get them under the tax if you wanted to, and then say that they just traded Jared McCain because they wanted to trade Jared McCain. But yeah, you're right. It would have been a lot more difficult for them to actually get under the tax if PG didn't get caught. Yeah.
It just seems too lucky.
Yeah.
Gives teams an incentive to just lace their players' meals with PEDs. Like, would you like some anabolic steroids on your chicken?
That's diabolical. That is diabolical. The Jakob Poeltl Award, the team that gave up a first-round pick for a player, and everyone will question it all of next season. This is where I have Ivica Zubac. And it's not because I don't think Zubac is a bad player. He's a very good player, a player that I think could even potentially make an all-star team in the Eastern Conference because it's the Eastern Conference. But man, this could also be moot because maybe the Pacers tank out the season, they get lucky and they keep their pick, and they get a top 3 pick plus Zubac, and they go into next season with Halliburton back, and they look amazing. Like this could all turn out so well for the Pacers. I do want to acknowledge that piece of it. But the fact that now it's a coin flip that you even keep this pick is like too much stress for the state of Indiana for me. That's too much. Because if they do not keep this pick, if this winds up like 5 or 6, there are good players waiting at 5 or 6. And if that goes to the Clippers, and they had this entirely like horrific season after going to the NBA Finals, you have this awful season, and you give up that pick to the Clippers because you needed a starting center. I think that is too high of a price to pay, especially when you have another unprotected pick coming their way as well. So if they give up like the 5th pick and then another unprotected pick, that is way too much. That is way too much to give. And I don't understand it. I understand trying to get Zubac. I don't understand giving up that much to get him. But this draft lottery will be so intriguing. And this is like another reason why I think it was already going to be a really fun draft lottery. This is like another reason why there's going to be some executives sweating bullets in that room because of this trade. And if it ends up going to the Clippers, we will talk about it so much. This is going to be talked about all of next season. Whenever we watch whoever it is on the Clippers lighten it up. And sure, I think the Pacers will be fine. I don't think this is going to like set them back a ton because they'll have Zubac and they'll have their team together. But man, this pick, in my opinion, was going to be the thing that could help take the Pacers even to a higher level than what Zubac could. I think you can find a starting center. I think you can find one. I don't think you have to give up potentially like the 5th, 6th, or 7th pick in the draft. I don't think you have to do that. It blows my mind that they did that. I did not think they would put the 26th pick on the table.
Could you imagine if the Clippers happened to have given up number 1 to OKC, but
they get 5?
They get 5 anyway, so they're good. Or they give up number 6 to OKC and they luck out and get 5. Yeah, remember I said earlier when I named the Zubac trade for the Pau Gasol Award, I said we were going to talk about him later. Yeah, this is why I'm conflicted. It's a lot to give up.
It's a lot.
You nailed it on the pick analysis. It stays this year in Indianapolis if it is 1 through 4, and if it is 10 through 30, and if it's 5 through 9, it goes to the Clippers.
Do you remember like a sandwich, like protection like that? I don't remember seeing a sandwich.
There definitely have been. I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Yeah,
I will say Jake Fisher broke the news about that pick protection, and I texted Jake Fisher. I was like, "What a fun break!"
Yeah, that is a really
like I was really jealous. That's the type of news I love. I love like that's what I love to break. Like that. That's fun. I don't know the answer to this.
Yeah,
I would love to know the process of specifically how those protections were negotiated.
Yeah,
What was said and then what came back and then what was said, where'd they land, how'd they land on those? It's
yeah,
so quirky and specific.
it is. It's really strange. It's almost like, okay, we really want to tank, but like maybe we don't. It's like
Yeah.
I don't know what the thought process is there either, because you can imagine like the Pacers with Zubats, and if they're like completely healthy and they're just like playing good basketball, you could see them, making a little run as all these other teams are tanking. And maybe it's accounting for that. I don't know.
Here's
It's
what
very
I think.
strange.
I think the Clippers said, "We want a chance at a really good pick."
Yeah.
And the Pacers said, "Well, it can't be too good, at least not this year because we're too bad." So the
Yeah.
Pacers said, "We want a top 4 protected." This is totally me guessing, by the way.
Sure.
Pacers said, "We want a top 4 protected." And the Clippers said, "Well, we don't wanna do that because what happens if you're good with Zubats and you end up with the 12th pick?
Mhm.
We don't want the 12th pick. We want the chance for this to be a really high pick." The Pacers said, "Okay, so we'll 10 through 30 protect it also, but
Yeah, that makes
that's
way
for
more
your
sense.
guys' benefit,
Yeah, that makes way more
and
sense.
then you'll get an unprotected one way far out if that's falls in
Yeah.
there."
No,
So
yeah, your
that's my
theory is way better.
guess. That's my guess.
Yeah, that theory makes way more sense than what I was just saying. They also get Benedict Mathurin. They're going to have to. He's a restricted free agent. I guess you get a really good look at him. And to me, like the picks are really like what you want, but they get to get a good look at Benedict Mathurin and figure out what's going on. I don't know. The Clippers stuff weirds me out. I'm weirded out by what the heck happened there. And I can't wait for Clippers week next week to talk to Law about it, because they went from like the team that's like, are they gonna make the 8th seed? Are they gonna push the Thunder? To like, what's gonna happen there? They're probably gonna give the Thunder like the 9th pick or something. Like this is just such a strange situation.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Oh, what a change, by the way. The Clippers caught up in a strange situation.
Unbelievable.
The Clippers, where strange situations grow on trees.
Oh my gosh. And they literally grow the trees that it
Yes.
grows on.
Yes.
Goodness. Shout out to Pablo. Okay. The Mike Conley Award, a trade for a veteran that will end up turning the team around. This team has already been turned around, in my opinion, but I just think bringing Kobe White to the Charlotte Hornets is such a fun move. I just think the vibes are already awesome there. I think it's going to increase the vibes in Charlotte. He's a North Carolina guy. He's like the high school like leading scorer in the history of high school basketball in North Carolina. He's also played at North Carolina in college, and now he's back. I just think like it's a fun story there. But then I just think I think the Hornets are already super fun, and him coming off the bench is even better. So I love that. I don't know that it's necessarily fits this one in particular, but I just wanted a space to express how much I like Kobe White for the Hornets.
It's a great answer. The Hornets are on like a year and a half stretch now of just every time they make a move, I look at it and I think about it, I go, "Oh, that was really smart."
Yeah.
Every time. Even if it doesn't work out, there's intelligence, logic, and an overall plan to everything they do.
Totally.
They've been chipping away at just like just smart thing after smart thing. Part of the reason why I like the deal as much as I did, the Kobe White deal, and I agree with everything you said. Part of the reason why I liked it as much as I did is because they only gave up 3 second-round picks,
Mm-hmm.
which is like whatever. But for them, 3 second-round picks is not even that big of a deal because they've spent the last year and a half, 2 years just accumulating second-rounders.
Yep.
So they have a lot of second-rounders to deal in a trade just like this.
Mm-hmm.
Kobe White's a good player. Colin Sexton's having a good year for them.
Yeah.
Kobe White's a good player. I'm curious to see how he's going to play next to some of their other ball handlers, but also like if they decide to let him run their bench unit, like that is one hell of a guy running the bench unit. Like
Yeah.
he is going to be able to go off. They have a lot of bucket getters.
Yeah.
They
do.
have so many bucket getters. It is crazy. And they just upgraded, I think, at the bucket getting position again.
Mhm.
They're good. They're really fun to watch. I mean, they're crazy fun to watch. And
Yeah.
They're a good one. My answer for this one was the Kristaps Porzingis deal.
Okay.
Except I changed the language in the question.
Mm-hmm.
You said it's for a trade for a veteran that will end up helping turn a team around, and I changed will to could.
That is so lame to do, though, Fred. That is so lame. That's. I'm not even going to let you do that because, like, that's not within the spirit of what this is about.
If Porzingis, it's just availability. He's still so good.
He's still
so good.
Yeah.
He was really good when he played for Atlanta this year.
That's why I had the guts to give him the PJ Washington Award. Okay, Fred. That's
you're
why.
Right. You're right. You know what? The answer is Kobe White. We'll go with a 25-year-old for the veteran.
Yeah, I know. It does not fit.
We can wedge the 25-year-old into this vet question.
Yeah, I was also wrong about this one. We're both.
But like Porzingis, like I'm not saying that I'm not living in a delusional world where I feel like Porzingis just plays the rest of the season and is good to go. Yeah. But really what matters is, like, let's say Golden State finishes in 8th, okay?
Uh-huh.
Or finishes in, let's say they finish in 7th or something like that.
Sure.
And Porzingis ends up healthy in mid-April. And he's just healthy for 2 playoff series.
Yeah.
I mean, Porzingis takes deeper threes than any big man in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Brook Lopez. Him and Steph running pick and rolls 35 feet out is going to be unhinged.
Yeah.
It's going to be unstoppable.
It could be awesome.
And he's still a good defensive player.
Mm-hmm.
And a good rim protector and an absolute abject winner who has played massive games, has balled out in the finals when he came back from that injury in the finals a couple of years ago. The only thing with him is, the POTS, the condition that he's dealing with, and the health. And that is a very big thing. But if he's just healthy at the right time, then all of a sudden, that might just end up being worth it.
Yeah. All right, Fred, let's take a break before we get to our final awards. We have the Simone Fontecchio Award. We have the Bogdanovic and Burks Award. We have the Kyle Kuzma Award. Just get ready. We'll be right back. And we're back after that quick break. It's time to continue our trade awards. We now move to the Simone Fontecchio Award, the award that this is the trade that NBA sickos obsess over, but it really was not going to move the needle at all. And I hate to say this because I am one of the NBA sickos that has really loved this deal, but I'm going to put Keon Ellis here, who I think is awesome and I think will make an impact. But if I was going to pick a trade that the NBA sickos are gushing over and that most casual people would be like, who is that? Who are you talking about? To me, it just kind of fits the Fontecchio vibe. I don't want it to be true because I really do like Keon Ellis, but I do think that there's a chance that it's not going to move the needle as much as everybody thinks it is.
Here's why Keon Ellis is a bad pick.
Okay.
Keon Ellis went to a team that's good and trying to win.
True.
And Keon Ellis might have a moment or two in a playoff series and whatever else.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to say this because I'm one of the sickos who actually loves this trade.
Okay.
But I hate myself for loving this trade.
Okay.
I have dealt with incredible amounts of self-loathing for days because I love the Vit Krejci trade so much for Portland.
That is probably more okay. I now feel good about taking Keon Ellis off and making mine Krejci as well, because that fits way more the Fontecchio vibe. You were right. You were right about that one. Vit Krejci to Portland is almost exactly the Simone Fontecchio trade to a T.
100%. And it's I last year, I love this one. Last year when we did this podcast, I still remember I said the Jake LaRavia to the Kings trade. And I said a philosophy that still holds true today, which is everyone's freaking out about the Grizzlies not having Jake LaRavia. Well, guess what? Every champion in NBA history has had in common. They haven't had Jake LaRavia. And I will say that every NBA champion in league history has also not had Vit Krejci. So I loved it. I loved it for Portland.
Yeah.
He's been so good this year. He is on an unbelievably cheap contract, and he's under contract for multiple more years. So it's not like, oh, it has that. The difference between this and like the LaRavia one was LaRavia was just like a free agent after last year and then signs with the Lakers. Like this will help Portland next year and the year after that when he's still under contract and making like $3 million. And he's a legit rotation player who can shoot the heck out of the ball. You know who else can shoot the heck out of the ball? Simone Fontecchio. It is. It's that deal. I'm too excited. I hate myself for it. But you know, I love it and hate myself.
Yeah, no, I mean, it fits that because Fontecchio, when he was traded to Detroit, this is referencing when Simone Fontecchio was traded to Detroit. And if you listen to like any podcast that had like anybody that was just loved to get into the nitty gritty, they just talked about how much they loved it. And it was just really funny to me. And without a doubt, Vit Krejci is definitely that one. Like I think there's really no other real option. I feel bad now for even saying Keanu Ellis's name there. Okay, next one, the Kyle Kuzma Award. This award goes to the most confusing trade of the trade deadline, and I have the James Harden for Darius Garland trade, and I'm confused from the side of Cleveland. I don't understand why they would want James Harden. I really don't. I can understand why you'd want to split up the Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell backcourt. I get that. Everybody gets that. There's nobody questioning why you'd want to do that. We've seen it not hit the ceiling that we would hope. But I just am confused why James Harden is the solution to that problem. We can talk about his playoff failures all you want. You can talk about how he is going to get killed as a pick and roll defender. We can talk about a ton of things, his attitude, the fact that he's been traded so many times. I mean, I don't get it. I don't get why this would be your back's against the wall. You need to win in the playoffs, and then you turn to James Harden. I just do not get it. I am endlessly confused by that. I like it for the Clippers, even though I don't know if Garland's going to be healthy at any point in the rest of his career for an extended period of time. But it's a younger player who has made the All-Star team twice. I love the bet that they made there, but I'm endlessly confused about Cleveland.
Yeah, I'm with you. I am fascinated to see the Harden fit. Now, I think the answer is there are a lot of people who are really concerned about Darius Garland's medicals.
Yeah.
And if Cleveland wants to win this year, if they're like the East is really, really good, or the East is really, really winnable, I should say, this year, and they want to win this year, I think you can make an argument, if only based on health, because Garland's got the toe stuff and whatever else. I think you can make the argument that James Harden, just because of availability, even if you think that, I mean, you can make the argument that Harden's better than Garland, but I think even if you think that Garland is 5-10% better than Harden, just because of availability, I think you can make the argument that this makes them better today.
Yeah.
It makes them better in April, May, June. But that being said, come on. Like, I just don't see the fit. I don't get it. Cleveland has prided itself on how fast it plays, on its cutting, on its off-ball movement. And now they're bringing in a guy who's going to play slow, who's going to want the ball. You got to have to revamp the way you play.
He uses has used so many possessions. Like go look it up on NBA.com. The amount of possessions that Harden has used this season is unbelievable. Like I mean, I don't think he's going to use as many in Cleveland, but James Harden teams are James Harden teams.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird one. It's not my answer to this question.
Okay, what's your answer?
Wait, we're doing the Kuzma Award, right?
Yeah, Kuzma Award.
My answer is DeAndre Hunter.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Because at least, like, Cleveland, I get the, like, like I said, I get the justification if you're worried about health reasons.
Yeah.
It does make you better this year if you just have gotten to the place where you're like, Garland's not gonna be healthy.
Mhm.
So, in that sense, it probably makes you better this year. And if you think you can win the East this year, I get going for it. It's not the work of a madman. Whereas dumping the Dennis Schroeder contract so you can take on more money doesn't I just don't get it. Um, they they used Keon Ellis, their only cheap, air quotes young guy. He's in his mid-20s. They used Keon Ellis instead of as a way to get some stuff,
Yeah.
as a way to get off of Schroeder, who they signed last year to a 3-year deal when the entire league's reaction was, "Whoa, 3 years for Schroeder?
And
That's
they
gonna be
said it was
regrettable."
he's now a part of their core
Right,
when they signed
that's
him.
gonna be regrettable.
Yeah.
Then they used Keon Ellis to get off of Schroeder, then also to bring in DeAndre Hunter. Now, here's a thing that people aren't really talking about. People
Mhm.
talk about how the Kings are bad. They have the worst record in the league right now. People talk about how the Kings don't fit. People talk about how the Kings have gone after veterans who, are talented in a vacuum, but just couldn't complement each other any worse.
Mhm.
I don't think enough people are talking about the price of the Kings next year.
Oh,
They they have serious luxury tax concerns
yeah.
and just added money with DeAndre Hunter making like $24 million.
Yeah.
They might have to get to a place now. They might be sitting there thinking like, you know what, we'll be able to offload Sabonis in the summer. Maybe they came closer on Sabonis stuff than anybody on the outside knows.
Sure.
Maybe they came closer on Levine stuff than anybody on the outside knows. Levine has a player option for next year. Everybody assumes he's going to pick up. It's like 48 million. Maybe they'll be able to say that's going to be expiring money. We'll be able to get out from under that. But why are you making the battle harder for yourself? They have the players they have under contract for next year. They have them under contract for like 180 something $1 million. On top of the fact, luxury tax projection is like 200 million. Like
Yeah.
on top of the fact that right now they project to have the first pick, which is great. Of course, you want the first pick,
You
but guess
do.
what comes with having the first pick? The most expensive rookie salary you can possibly add to your deal. And
Yep.
now rookie scale salaries are expensive. They changed it a few years ago. These are
Mhm.
expensive deals. These are 8-figure deals that you're going to be adding to your books. You're
Yeah.
becoming really expensive for no reason. So what's going to happen? Like DeMar DeRozan is under contract for 25 million next year, but only 10 million is guaranteed. So are you going to have to waive DeMar DeRozan? And then are you just going to have to stretch DeMar DeRozan potentially?
Oh my gosh.
And just add a $3 million cap hit, $3.3 million cap hit onto your books for 3 consecutive seasons? Not really for any reason, because that's basically the delta between what you're going to pay DeAndre Hunter versus what you would have been paying Schroeder.
It's probably
They
exactly what's gonna happen.
And now you've created that. For what reason? For what reason? You have the worst record in the league. They also gave up a second round pick in the deal. So they had
That
Keon
part is
Ellis.
nuts to me.
They had Keon
That's the
Ellis.
part that's nuts to me.
They had Keon Ellis, who people liked. They didn't play him. They created an environment over multiple coaches, which, by the way, for what it's worth, it's like when Mike Brown and Doug Christie don't play Keon Ellis, it does make me think like, why have multiple coaches not played Keon Ellis?
Mm.
Even though I like Keon Ellis, I watch him play. I'm like, good spot up shooter, plays hard defensively, gambles a
Yeah.
little bit too much for my liking on defense, but good player. And also like, in that environment, who can develop?
Yeah.
But
True.
they didn't play Keon Ellis, hurt his value, made it very easy for anybody negotiating with them for Keon Ellis to be able to say, whenever they asked for, they were asking for first round pick reportedly for Keon Ellis. But if I'm team X and I'm calling about Keon Ellis and the Kings say to me, we want a first round pick for Keon, I'd say, well, if you like him so much, why don't you play him? And then there'd be no good answer to that because the only
You like him
answer
so
is
much, why don't you marry him, huh?
the only good answer throws your head coach under the bus. And then all of a sudden you can't do that. That's just unprofessional. I mean, you can do it. I'm sure it happens, but it's unprofessional. And so, and it signals that the organization is not, acting as a cohesive unit. And so it just takes that argument away from you. And then they end up using Keon Ellis to attach to Schroeder so they can take on more money in a salary dump.
Yeah.
Which I'm just, oh man, I'm just waiting. Like, are they really going to end up having to like stretch DeRozan? Like what is happening? How did they get this? Like the thing that I get how they got this bad. I'm not saying
you understand the moves it took to get here.
Right. I get that ridiculous organizations will do ridiculous things.
Yeah.
What's so crazy is to get this bad while also getting more expensive.
Yeah.
That's what's so crazy.
It's a double
They've gotten
whammy.
more expensive over this time when they've weaned themselves off the Bean team. Like, they've gotten more expensive. Like, they're going to have real money concerns next year.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to have, like, not even tax concerns. They might have apron concerns.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah, that's nuts.
They're going to have to, in order to not have those concerns, they're going to have to find ways to dump salary. And for what it's worth, dumping salary might take attaching more assets.
Yeah.
So either way, you're out stuff.
And they just, what's funny is that the Cavs came to the conclusion we made a really big mistake with DeAndre Hunter. And we're still able to get probably something, they got something positive back for it, which is just wild to me. It's just wild to me.
Yeah, I also think, while we talk about the Schroeder contract, nobody wants long-term money nowadays. But
yeah,
like I think Schroeder will help them from an on-court perspective. That's like a good basketball addition as an extra ball handler. Like Schroeder, he gets traded 6 times a year, but everybody likes him when they get him mid-year, except for Golden State.
Yeah, it's there's a ticking clock when it comes to him, but he's good for a little while, and they got him for a little while. Yeah, I don't mind it from their perspective. Okay, last one is the Bogdanovic and Burks Award. If you're a Knicks fan, you remember this. Everybody was so excited for these two coming to New York, and it did not work out at all. The most overrated trade at the deadline. Fred, what do you have?
I deviated a little bit for this on like overrated trade, just because I don't really know how the trades are rated now.
Sure.
And so instead of saying trade that's been overrated, I'm just going to say it was overrated for the year and a half before we knew what it was.
Okay.
Which is Jonathan Kuminga finally getting traded.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I know I said I like the Porzingis acquisition for them. Like, it makes sense. But it's also like after all the fuss about what's going to happen with Kuminga.
Yeah.
Just totally unexciting and unenthralling. And so blah. Such a blah way for it to end.
Yeah, without a doubt. And like, I don't even know what he is for Atlanta. Like, it's hard for me to envision what Kuminga is supposed to be for them.
I think it's a talent play.
Yeah. I guess I get it from that perspective. It also feels like Atlanta, and maybe all of Atlanta's stuff was more of everybody's basketball imaginations going wild about what they could be, because it never really became what everybody thought it would be in the offseason. So maybe this is all just a moot point, but it is just kind of wild that they went from where we thought they could be, all the way to like they're just making talent grabs at the trade deadline with a team that's going nowhere. They're in an interesting spot. They kind of need some. They're another team at the lottery to watch, where their future could change drastically. Then, yeah, I don't love it. I don't love it for them either. I really don't. Yeah, I don't love it for either team, which probably fits the Bogdanovic and Burks trade too. I don't think in the end anybody loved it.
Yeah. Detroit ended up getting Quentin Grimes and then giving him away too in the Bogdanovic Burks one.
Yeah, that's true.
So it was like even the chance of like the guy who you could have had, it's like you didn't even make an effect.
Didn't even get there.
Yeah.
For this one, I think I have Jaren Jackson here just because and maybe you can help me with this. I just don't really get how this pushes Utah to like a really awesome place. Like, I feel like this kind of pushes Utah to the middle. And at this point, are they going to sit Triple J and try to tank to get a good pick? Are they going to play him and potentially give that pick to the Thunder, which is top 8 protected? I don't know what they're going to do. My guess is that they'll tank, and that they'll sit him the rest of the season, at least a good portion. But even when they're whole, is Jaren their best player? Who's their best player? I just don't really quite get like the direction that the Jazz are going. I know maybe they're just tired of losing, and it's like, all right, we just need to go get Jaren. I don't think they like overpaid for him or anything. They didn't give up any of their premium players or any of the guys that they thought would have like super high ceiling. So I like that. They didn't give up a crazy amount of draft picks. But I'm still a little bit confused as to what like the ultimate direction of Utah is. And if it is contention, I think they're putting themselves in a position where it's kind of hard to get to contention from where they're at. So I'm just a little bit confused by their roster and who they think will push them toward contention, if that makes sense.
It does. Can I just say, if you don't win an Oscar for what you just did, sitting there seeming to genuinely ponder whether the Jazz will tank.
I've done that on multiple occasions since they made the trade.
Looking like you're really thinking about it. I wonder if this bee will try to make honey.
You just think it's a foregone conclusion.
Yeah. Yeah, they've been doing it for months. They're not going to stop now. They've got a top 8 pick that they owe to Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
Top 8, right? Top 8 or top 9?
Top 8 protected.
Top 8 protected.
It's 9th that goes to OKC. Yeah.
Right. They owe to Oklahoma City, and they can't lose that.
They cannot. Right now they sit at 6 in the reverse standings, and the problem with it is there are so many teams behind them right now that are trying to tank as well. And because they have in the tanking world the disadvantage of having an awesome coach, it makes it kind of complex because behind them they have Memphis, Milwaukee. I don't know that Chicago can quote unquote tank, but like they're not going to be any good. Atlanta's not going to be any good. They're going to have to really try to tank. And they also got like Vince Williams, I think could help them. They kind of got like some tryhards from Memphis in this trade too. So they're going to have to really shut guys down.
Yeah, wow, that would be really out of character for the Jazz. You're right. You're right. They're going to have to just start randomly resting guys. Like they're going to have to just start randomly resting guys strategically.
They would never.
Against teams that maybe they have a chance to beat, so that they would, no way.
Utah would never.
They might have to randomly sit Markkanen. They might have to end Markkanen's unbelievable consecutive game streak.
they might have to strategically rest Yusuf Nurkic,
Yeah,
which
exactly.
they've done this season as well. Yeah, I mean you're right.
Yeah.
But I just think
They
this.
started Svi Mikhailuk for
Yeah.
24 consecutive games, accidentally beat two teams close to them in the tank standings,
Uh-huh.
and then DNP CD'd Svi Mikhailuk for one game because they were playing another team close to them in the tank standings, and then started him again the next game.
Yeah.
And then said they just wanted to get a look at other guys for that game. They are doing it with Svi Mikhailuk. My point is not that Svi Mikhailuk is so incredible that he can't that's an issue for the game. My point is that they're so into the tanking minutia. They're doing it with Svi Mikhailuk. I promise, I don't think they have any moral issues with this. and I know they insisted they weren't going to do it again this year, but they've been doing it again this year, and they're going to do it again this year.
They are doing it because I do think that they wanted to tank in a, I don't even know how you'd even say it, but I think they just wanted to naturally tank, where it's just like we're going to take away your tools so that you can't do it anymore. But they're still finding ways with guys like Svi, who credit to Svi, he's trying hard.
Yeah.
But
they tank. It's a natural tank. It's like Wayne Newton's face is a natural face.
This is stop.
Can I say that?
Yeah, I don't know. But this tank race is going to get nasty. Like it's going to get really gross. There are a lot of teams, including Indiana, who has the third best odds right now. It's going to get really gross. There's going to be a lot of tanking throughout the rest of this season. And like somebody's going to accidentally make the play in, I think, because there are a lot of teams that are positioned to lose a lot of games down the stretch of this season. And Utah could be in the driver's seat there.
I'm going to laugh so hard if a team tanks out of the play-in.
It's going to be I think it's going to be a very weird end of the season. And justifiably so. Like this is just kind of how the NBA is set up. This is a really, really good draft. And if you just give yourself the chance to be in the lottery, it could be anybody. Anybody could jump up.
Yeah. I mean, look at the teams that currently have picks that could be affected in the lottery. There is New Orleans right now has the second worst record in the league, but their pick would go to Atlanta. Their pick or Milwaukee's pick, whichever is better, is going to go to Atlanta.
Yeah.
New Orleans could end up going to Milwaukee. There's the Indiana situation that we discussed earlier.
Mm-hmm.
There's the Utah situation where Utah's pick, if it falls 9th or later, is going to go to Oklahoma City.
Yep.
There is the Milwaukee situation where Milwaukee is going to try really, really hard to tank, and they're just going to hope that whatever the worst of them in Atlanta is still a really good pick. And for what it's worth, now that they've held on to Giannis, there's drama with like, oh, if they get into the top 4, what do the Bucks do with that pick? Not what should they do with that pick, but what will they do with that pick? There is the Clippers pick, which is going to Oklahoma City, and then it's like, damn, does the team what currently has the best record in the league and won the title last year get into the top 4 or get number 1? Atlanta's pick,
I was about to say,
would be in the lottery right now, is going to San Antonio.
Because Atlanta could lose a lot of games down the stretch. And San Antonio has gotten so lucky in the past that, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, you're right. There's a lot. There's a lot here.
Yeah.
There's a lot here.
There is a lot. There is a lot. There's so much. And then even in the back half of the first round, it's like,
oh, it's littered.
Half of the teams that are picking aren't picking with their own pick.
I think it's more than half. It's crazy. Like, yeah. Another team, Memphis, gets Orlando's pick. I was a little surprised to see Orlando not do anything but just get under the tax, because that team needs to do something. I would guess that maybe they do something big in the offseason, but they need a change. That team is in a weird spot.
They're in a really weird spot. They might do something big in the offseason because they're another team that's going to have real financial concerns with a team that's 25-24 right now.
Yeah.
And, they're going to get really expensive. They paid Paolo. They paid Franz. They brought in Desmond Bane, who makes a lot of money.
Yeah.
They paid Suggs. And right now, this core isn't playing together. So you can keep saying that. But it's been a while now, and they still haven't played together, and the shooting is still not good enough, and there's just something off with them.
That I saw them in OKC the other night, and I know that was probably their worst game of the season, but yeah, it was completely disorganized on both ends. That's a team that should, like, you should be in the mud with them the whole game, and they just have, like, that's their identity. It's like they just grind you to a halt. The defense is, like, just nasty, but it was not. It was not. They couldn't even get into the paint against the Thunder, and, like, a lot of teams can't, but there was just no identity on either end, which is very concerning. Like, at least, like, have a defensive identity. They couldn't even do that the other night against an OKC team that didn't have, several players in the lineup. Yeah, I don't know what that Orlando team does, because that's another team that we all got ahead of ourselves with our basketball imaginations, I think, and thought that this could be a dark horse team in the East, and they are certainly not that.
Yeah,
It
100%.
would be shocking if they won a round or even won a few games in the first round at this point. Yeah, they're in a weird spot. Fred, anything that you'd like to promote before we get out of here?
On Thursday morning, when is this running?
Saturday. It's called the Saturday Slam and Jam.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that what this is called?
That's what this is.
Did I used to host this show? Guest host. I couldn't possibly take that from Spears. Yes, on Thursday I had a column about the Anthony Davis trade and just kind of how it's closure for everything that happened with Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
On Friday, a story about what path every team is on. What path is everybody on? The Wizards are on 2 timeline turnpike.
Yeah.
And the Kings are on the highway to hell. And then we're going to figure out, we're going to run through the whole thing and talk about kind of each path that every team is on after the deadline.
That's awesome. Go check it out. Also, subscribe to the Cats and Shoot podcast. I'm a listener. I'm a subscriber. It's a good podcast. Even if you're not, it's kind of a Knicks-centric podcast, but if you're just an NBA fan, it's enjoyable. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Saturday Slam Jam. Next week, we'll be back with the much-anticipated Clippers week with Alex. Alex will be back. We'll have trivia back. It'll all feel normal again. I'm very excited. And I just think it was the right thing to do, to just wait for Clippers week, because I think there's a lot to unpack. That could even be the full hour, honestly. It's just we let Alex do the week that was, and then we just do Clippers for like 45 minutes, I think could be the way we go. So I hope everybody has a great rest of your weekend. Enjoy the basketball, and we will talk to you guys again next Saturday.